wants to be king!
I'm never gonna look back, 'cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast.
You welcome in Movie Recap, Vikings series, the second part of the 4th season. Previous seasons in the description below the video. After Ragnar's defeat from his brother Rollo, Ragnar disappears for years and someone arrives in Kattegat. He tells Bjorn that he was close to Wessex and learns from someone there that he says he is Ragnar's son, and tell him what happened in the settlement of Wessex. Ragnar's wife says they don't know anything about Ragnar and that he's gone after the war. Bjorn goes to tell his brothers about the settlement. He gets angry because Ragnar knew what happened and didn't tell him. Bjorn goes to Floki to ask him and finds that he knows, but Ragnar tells him not to tell anyone. Bjorn asks him to make boats for him. He tells him that he has taken a map from Paris to the Middle East and that he wants to sail there, and Floki says he will go with him. Ragnar reappears and returns to Kattegat, and the people are surprised by his return and see that he has abandoned them and is on the run. Ragnar stands up and screams, and tell them that you have the right to hate me, but after the war, no one supported me. And he took out his sword and said whoever wants to kill me will be the king. Ragnar's children appear. Oba approaches him and hugs him. On the other side, after the war, Rollo is celebrated by the king of Paris and its people and makes King Rollo Caesar of Paris. Ragnar's sons ask him why he came back, and he tells them that he came back to see what his sons did. And the invasion of England. Bjorn showed the map he had and told him that he was going to the Middle East and that Floki was preparing boats for him. Ragnar goes to Floki and sees the boats he made. Ragnar says, "Now you make a deal with my son." He says he wants to go to Wessex. Floki said, "We should have gone a long time ago," and told him that he could not go with him and that he had promised Bjorn that he would sail with him. And Ragnar says, "I feel I will never see you again, and take care of my family and go away." With Ragnar's sons, they will be in the jungle. And we will see that Ivar fights violently against his brothers, and although he cannot stand, but still he can compete with them and beat them as well. And we return to Ragnar, and he goes to Lagertha and suggests that she come with him, and she refuses because she is angry about what happened in the settlement, and that Ragnar knew and kept silent, and that she was the one who established this settlement. She said that you were king and abdicated your responsibilities and your people. He tells her that he has made many wrong decisions and asks her to forgive him, and that he wishes he hadn't left her in the past and stayed a farmer and gone away. On his way, he finds a tree and ties a rope to hang himself, but the rope breaks and he falls. He is frustrated and desperate, and that everyone refused to go with him. He returns to the Kattegat to find Ivar waiting. Surprisingly, he is the only one who agrees to go with him to Wessex. The next day, Ragnar goes to Bjorn and tries to convince him to go with him, but Bjorn refuses. But he says he will leave him boats. And at night, Lagertha arrives at Kattegat to see her son before he leaves. Ragnar's wife, Aslog, speaks arrogantly to her and tells her that she is the king of Kattegat. Lagertha does not like this talk, and she walks away. She says that she is more deserving of Kattegat, and that she stole her husband and Kattegat from her. Bjorn and Floki prepare with the army and boats as they go east. Ragnar is trying to get people into his army, but Bjorn will take all the mighty warriors. And the rest of the people are upset with Ragnar, and that he abandoned them, and their relatives in the colony died because they trusted him. Ragnar and Ivar go to take his burial treasure and distribute it to the people so that they agree to go with him. But they are old and not warriors. Ragnar and Ivar prepare 3 boats to go to Wessex. Aslog dreams that there is a storm and Ragnar and Ivar die at sea. A storm really does happen, but Ragnar saved Ivar. In the morning, they find themselves on the beach, and with them a few people, and the rest drowned, and the ships were destroyed. And the people who survived told Ragnar that he had caused them trouble, and that they would die because of him. They climb the mountain so that the soldiers do not see them. But the soldiers see the wrecks and know that they are from the north. And we will see King Egbert, and know that Ragnar has returned. Ragnar tell Ivar that they must get rid of the survivors before they kill them, and at night Ragnar and Ivar kill them all. Ragnar tells Ivar that you are special, and you should always love yourself the way you are and think differently. At Bjorn they reach the strait, which is under the control of his uncle Rollo. The solution is that they either open the gate for them or fight. Bjorn goes to talk to Rollo. Rollo takes the map from him and imprisons them. And Lagertha goes with her army and enters Kattegat, but stops the war and says that she was born and lived here and she cannot kill anyone and that she is here to take back what is her property. And a slog comes out with her sword and surrenders and tells her, if you kill me, my sons will take revenge on you, and she turns away. But Lagertha kills her. Rollo brought Bjorn and brought him the expert in maps and knows everything about the East and how to go to Spain, and there it is ruled by the Islamic Caliphate. And Rollo says, I will not let you go unless I join you on this journey, and really go with it. In Kattegat, Oba and his brother, knowing that Lagertha killed their mother. Oba tries to kill Lagertha, but the guards beat him. Lagertha tells them that you are Ragnar's sons and you are welcome anytime. And I let them go. And on the other side, Ragnar has arrived at the gate of Wessex, and the guards enter it. Ragnar gets beaten up by the guards, and they put Ragnar in a cage. When King Egbert learns, he becomes sad because he considers Ragnar his friend, even though he is his enemy, and goes to see him. He says to Ragnar, no one will harm your son Ivar. King Egbert, he brings up his son from Princess Mercia, Princess Quenthrith. Ragnar says he is not his son and that the princess lied to him, and drinks with King Egbert. Ragnar tells him that the fortune teller told him, he will not die until the blind man can see him, but you have to kill me. And they kept talking about death, and the gods, and the difference between Christianity and the Vikings. King Egbert brings Alfred, son of Athelstan, and Ragnar embraces him and talks about Athelstan's friend. King Egbert tells Ragnar that he will not be able to grant his wish, nor will he be able to kill him. Ragnar says, hand me over to King Egil. He has wanted to kill me for a long time. King Egbert wants to let him walk, but Ragnar tells him that my sons know I came here, and that they are getting bigger and that they are many, and I am sure they will kill you. But if you send me to King Egil and let my son Ivar go, I will make him tell my brothers that you tried to help me, so that when they come they will kill only Egil. And King Egbert agrees. Ragnar speaks to Ivar and tells him that he uses his anger intelligently, and that he makes his thinking different from those around him. He tells him about the agreement between him and Egbert and tells him to tell his brothers that King Egil and Egbert will kill him. And Ragnar did all this because he wanted revenge on King Egbert for what he had done in the colony, but no one wanted to come with him. But if they killed Ragnar, they will all come together for revenge. Before being sent to King Egil, Ragnar meets Alfred, son of Athelstan, and gives him his father's necklace. So they put him in the cage and took him to King Egil. Ragnar looks at the chariot driver and discovers that he is a blind man and says to Ragnar, I know you and I can see you from the smell of fear from the soldiers around you. And here, Ragnar realizes that he is finished. These are his last days, and he will die. As the soothsayer told him, you will die when the blind man sees you. Second day, he arrives at King Egil. He tells him that he will make him to atone for his past wrongs before killing him. And they hung him in the cage and beat him with spears and strangled him. And King Egil burns him and asks him for mercy, and Ragnar rejects Ragnar with all this torture and does not speak, and King Egil draws a cross on his head. Ragnar speaks. Small animals get very angry when they hear the torment of the biggest. He means that his sons will be angry when they find out what happened to him. And on the second day, they dug a big hole and put many snakes in it. King Egbert is in disguise, and they threw Ragnar into the pit between the snakes, and the snakes killed him. Ragnar died in a very sad scene. Ivar returns to Kattegat and tells his brothers what happened, and that Ragnar died, and knows that Lagertha killed a slave girl, and goes to her and tells her that he will avenge his mother and kill her. Lagertha goes to the soothsayer and asks him if one of Ragnar's sons will kill her, and he answers, yes. And on the other side, Bjorn arrives in a Muslim country, and they kill and enter a mosque, and they find people praying. And Floki loves the sound of the call to prayer, and that they focus on prayer, and that there are no statues to pray to, and he prevents them from killing those who pray. And his wife finds a frightened girl, and decides to take her with her and raise her. And Floki is silent, knowing that their daughter's death affects her. Bjorn and his brothers see this person, the person with one eye representing Odin. Bjorn learns that Ragnar is dead and decides to return to Kattegat. In the Kattegat, Odin appears to Oba and Ivar, telling them that Ragnar died of snakes. Lagertha turned Kattegat into a commercial area. Oba and brothers are preparing for the army. Ivar pays bribes to people so he can control the guards to kill Lagertha. But Bjorn appears and says, if I kill her, you must kill me too, because I will take revenge, and I know you want revenge, but the most important thing is to avenge our father and not be divided. And Floki makes a car for Ivar to fight with them. Ivar wants to be the leader, and differences occur between them. But Bjorn says angrily that I am older than you both, and I am the one who entered the battles and fought alongside Ragnar. And they go to England, and they find the king equipped with an army, but the Vikings are too many, and destroy the army of King Egil. and tell them the place where Ragnar died, and they go to the place. And they decided to kill King Egil in the manner of a blood eagle. Blood eagle. The blood eagle is a method of ritual execution of the late chosen member. According to the 2 cases mentioned in the sagas, the victims were placed in a prone position, their ribs were cut from their spine with a blunt instrument, and their lungs were pulled out through the opening to create a pair of wings. Let's go back to the events of the series. In this way, there is nothing left but King Egbert and their revenge. In Wessex, King Egbert learns what happened to King El and hands over all matters of government to his son, because he knows that everything is over and that he awaits his death. And his son mobilizes the army and learns that Ragnar's sons are on their way to Wessex, and he goes out with the army to camps near Wessex. And in Kattegat they are attacked by this person, but Lagertha repels the attack and catches him smoking meat. You learn from him that it was King Harold who sent him for that when he returns to rule Kattegat. Ivar told them he had a plan to exploit the mountains and forests. And the next day, a small group of Ragnar's army appeared to Ethelwulf's army and rushed to them. Bjorn's army runs and hides in the woods, and another group appears behind them, and when Ethelwulf attacks them, they run away. Ethelwulf got angry and told his army that they must go to the ships of the Vikings and destroy them so that they could not escape and besiege them in Wessex. On the way, they find arrows like rain falling on them, and all the armies of Ragnar's sons around them from everywhere. And a very strong fight begins. Ethelwulf lost, and he and a small group of survivors withdrew and returned to Wessex to take King Egbert and flee. But King Egbert says, "I want to die here." The king formally abdicated in favor of his son, Ethelwulf. They all leave until they regroup and forge alliances. King Egbert and churchmen drink. There are no others left in Wessex. Bjorn and brothers arrive, and they drink. They find the city empty and burn everything. And they drink. And the girl that Floki's wife took to raise kills her and kills herself. And leave the drink and go out too. Vikings will kill him, but Bjorn stops them and puts him in the same cage as his father. King Egbert, he offers to write land to them and give it to them as compensation for the settlement, and that this was Ragnar's dream. And he tells them in return that I choose the way I die. And they agree. Of course, they did not know that he abdicated the king to his son. It means that he has no right to give them any land. Egbert, he chose to commit suicide, and of course in the place he loves, which is the bathroom. Floki buried his wife and decided to move away. Bjorn decided to continue his journey to the east, and Harold's brother decided to go with him. Sigurd makes fun of his brother Ivar. He says that Ivar is crazy in front of people. Ivar kills him in front of all people and brothers. And the 4th season ends. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a nice comment like you. See you in the next video.